Today is Sunday, August 5th, 2018. Get ready for the Emergency Broadcast System, the Forbidden History series, what they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here. Time to call your friends, ladies and gentlemen. We now interrupt your normally scheduled programming to bring you this very important deprogramming program. And special thanks to YouTube.com for hosting the Forbidden History series. Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society. Nothing here is to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. Good morning, Star. Good to have you. Your book is in the mail. You should have it Monday. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on therealpublicradio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way twice a day, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. Eastern Time, on therealpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. Stand by for the broadcast. You did tell your friends, right? Thank you for doing that. After all, you wanted to know, didn't you? Of course. Everybody wants to know the truth. My pleasure, Star. No problem. Stand by for the broadcast. Coming to you live from Studio Z at the Lighthouse in Central Ohio, in the heart of Amish country, and Free America Radio Network in the land of dreams, enchantments, and nightmares. It's the Forbidden History series, the great lies of history, the words that kill, the ABCs of light, symbolism, the duality revealed, and we're talking about that today. A book review of the book of Genesis, the way you've never heard it before, because somebody's got to do it. And we are the deprogramming program, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you already knew that, didn't you? That's why you're tuned in right here, because you're tired of swallowing that blue pill and you love the red pill. You know it, don't you? Even though you may choke on it every now and then because it's so big, but nonetheless, we've got to eat what is true, correct, complete, and not misleading. It's the only way out of the matrix, because it is the battle for the mind. The truth is light, and ignorance is darkness. And these are the great antagonists, the one against the other. And once we can begin to comprehend the true nature of things as they really are, then we can begin to comprehend that there is nothing more to complain about. As they say, what it is what it is. And therefore, that's what we're going to have to deal with. What it is, or what it was they were giving us in their isms. But if you don't know where you're going, then any road will get you there, and that's a pretty rough way to go. You may end up somewhere you don't want to be, actually. But the best way to identify the truth is to identify the lies, ladies and gentlemen. And if a lie is repeated long enough, magico presto, it becomes the truth. How did that happen? I guess people were sleeping. They weren't waking up to the truth. Or they didn't want to know. They said, don't give me the facts. Okay, just give me the fiction. I enjoy that a whole lot more. I love going to those movies, and watching all that fiction all the time. So give me some more of it, please. Sorry, you don't get that here. It's easier to lie to people than it is to convince them that they've been lied to. That has got to be the toughest hurdle to overcome all your life. 60 years old or whatever, half a century, and then you find out you've been buying into a lie all your life. It may be easier to deny it, right? Well, could be. And welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Desert Owl. You're tuned in right here to the Forbidden History series, what they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here because somebody's got to do it, and I'm just a glutton enough no real life. Well, I'm pursuing the real life. That's actually what I'm doing. But you know what I mean. In this world, my life is over. In this world, they've surrounded me and they got their guns pointed at me, and and that's great because the fire is good. That's what what I've been saying for years now. When we saw this Illuminati, New World Order, Old World Order, what it really is, the Old World Order coming at us, and getting involved, realizing they've stolen our world. It's a pretty good incentive to want to get. And good morning, Lynn. It's a pretty good incentive to want to define our true nature and where we have come from and where we are going. And that message has been given to us by the divine breath. Good morning, Martha. And but yet the occult took it over. The occult took it over because the Heavenly Father gave them a little playground. He said, "Okay, the earth will be your playground. Go ahead. You betrayed your birthright. You sold out." And the fallen watchers. That story we've talked about on the beginning of the programming series. But so we have to figure out the shenanigans, the code, how they duped us and stepped on us. Knowing everything. These watchers that built these megalithic structures like the pyramid civilizations around the world, and the polygonal structures and the walls like in Peru and all different parts of the world we've seen. That who were these people that they could build things that we still can't do today? What kind of mind did they have to be able to engineer our world? And good morning, Anna from Scandinavia. I think it's Finland, right? Up there in Finland. And so we got our work cut out for us when we're trying to unravel the great mystery. And so we'll get there in a second. I just wanted to mention that Sundog in DC, Shannon, she had a wonderful YouTube this morning. Not so wonderful, I guess, but showing of the evergreen bushes that were in the direct sunlight, burning up. Almost halfway burned up in the sunlight. One of her neighbors' homes. So she's scoping it out now, and and showing us the scenarios of the plants. We need to look at those plants that are burning up around the park, around our house, because that is telling us what will happen to us if we go in the sun. As I understand radiation, very little, but apparently your body will absorb radiation, but it doesn't get rid of it. Okay, so the more sun you get, the more radiation you get, and it stays with you. It breaks down the physical matter, and with the people, it goes to the DNA. So what you see happening to the plants is what is going to happen to your body if you go out in the sun. And I'm absolutely blown away when I'm watching different documentaries or the news reports, like with the heat. I watched a Vigilant Angel yesterday, and he shows the heat waves across Europe, and people are on the beach, getting a suntan, when all of the people in the higher ups know that the people are burning. They're literally being fried in UVB and UVC. And this is the greatest tragedy in our time right now, ladies and gentlemen, other than being lied to. Well, it is being lied to. That's right. They're being lied. They're not being told. Omission, but omission is still the commission of lying. When they know this. So this is so utterly tragic. And so to be able to find a way to reach as many people as we can is a crucial obligation that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest thing is to find the approach, and so I think that maybe getting people to see the dying bushes around their house may be an easier way to illustrate that we're not in Kansas anymore, and what is happening above is happening below. Okay, so yeah, the people don't want to wrap their mind around the end of the world, but there were no guarantees, of course, right? So and then by the way, on the and again, her for anyone new listening and don't know her YouTube channel, it's Sun Dog, letter N as in, but letter N, DC. Sun Dog NDC, NDC, Nancy David Charlie. Sun Dog Nancy David Charlie. Okay, that's all one word. And then you can go check out the latest YouTube. And she had the one from the day before. Check out the one day before also, okay? Uh, and Lynn, what are you saying here? My Bible says I can consume any deadly thing and won't be harmed. There's something better than this place. No sorries, no stress, no worries, no stress. Right, right. Well, nonetheless, but we are supposed to protect our temple. Okay, our temple is our house, and we have to not be negligent, not be, and abuse that. So, food for thought. Okay, so on the illustration on the YouTube channel, I forgot to mention this last night, but you see the globe. You see the globe, right? And the globe is tilted beyond the normal tilt about. I don't have my other graphic to compare it with because this is the secondary illustration I got on my radio network website. And but what happened was I was in Florida. It was about 10 years ago when I was in Florida, and I was there for about, so I'm talking like 50, almost 12 or 15 years ago, in that range. I don't know, what year it was specifically, but in Florida, I was on a east-west highway right there near Gainesville, but dead center in Interlaken, Florida, and without looking at the cosmic stuff, in other words, I already knew we were being sprayed by chemtrails, but that's all I knew. But being in Florida and having grown up in New Jersey, I I knew what it was like in the wintertime in New Jersey, and then Florida being the sunshine state. Well, you don't think it's going to get dark at 4:30 in the afternoon in Florida. But that after I had moved there, then all of a sudden I noticed that the sun setting and the winter, the solar sun going down in the evening at 4:30 didn't fit Florida. That was like, okay, that's when I was in New Jersey, it used to do that. I could see that. And so I knew something was going on. Then I talked to one friend in Canada. She actually came out of the Illuminati families, and she was very smart. And she tipped me off and got me to this website. I don't remember the name of it anymore, but it had these graphics there. And so she clued me in that the Earth has tilted, and I ultimately confirmed it to be true, because even in Jacksonville they had to realign the airport runways. That everything had shifted by about 10 degrees further than the tilt that we already had, and so literally, we're oh yeah, the illustrations here. We had a 26-degree increase. So from whatever tilt we had, and we're talking on a 360-degree pi. So as a result, what I concluded after looking at it upside down, inside out, and every way I could, was that our planet was in a wobble, and because I was comparing it to summer. And basically, the wobble was creating was like a 2,000-mile wobble. And so, rather than being the stable spin, it was in a wobble that became evident in the wintertime. So, it's been so long since I've run by this one and thought about it. It's been half a decade at least, if not more. But that's what's going on. So that happened 15 years ago. Okay, 15 years ago, we were being affected cosmically by the invisible magnetic force of something. And what I concluded at the time is that we were going through the flat line of the galaxy. There's not like one thing going on right now. We're going through the flat line of the galaxy. That started probably around 1998, and that's 1997 is actually when I saw the weather start to change, and we had a perpetual spring in 1997. I went cross country in a big truck, 18-wheeler. After my divorce, I was traveling coast to coast. We had a perpetual spring. There was no summer. Then at the end of the year 1997 in the fall, then the news media comes on the radio. We want to report that, 1997 is on record as being the hottest summer in history. Okay, boom. And so what they say, they just lied to us again. They just reported they had to, because they wanted to get in somebody's mind. The Hegelian dialectic, tell you the opposite of what it really was. And of course the media told us, so it's got to be true, right? But so we're going through the flat line of the galaxy, which happens every 5,250 years. And this presentation was done by the Horizon Project. They literally took down their videos. This documentary they did, the Horizon Project, is now no longer available, and it was the most powerful presentation. So I'm sure that they were threatened, and so they pulled it down. Bill Miller, I believe his name was Bill Miller Sr., did a great presentation. These people are genius, and literally this is no longer available. But I fortunately, from one of my listeners, got a copy and still have it. And I doubt if it's on YouTube. I probably need to do a new search to see if I can find it to share with you. But so we're going through the flat line, and so the galaxy is like a pancake. And so once we get right to that center point, that's when our sun began being charged. That's when I noticed, before this, sun simulator, that the sun was just bright as all get out. And that was like even 10 years ago when I was moved from Florida to Georgia. That sun was so bright you couldn't even look at it when it was rising or setting. The sun was being charged from the center, what we call the black hole, at the center of the galaxy. Is not a black hole. It is pure energy of the great Father, the great Father of light that made all things. That's the center of the galaxy. And so it's the invisible, the ultraviolet, vibration that charges all of the stars in the galaxy, keeps them going, keeps them in motion. And good morning, Ninja. And so we got that going on. Then we got a binary star system coming in, binary star that's also doing something. And so then we got a bunch of criminal, psychopaths on our planet that are also doing something and doing stuff electronically, and in more ways than one. So we're getting a mixed bag of things that are happening all at the same time. And there's one more, and I know I'm missing it. I'm just forgetting it right now. But there's like one more thing going. Oh well, yeah, the ozone layer, because they wanted to hide the incoming planets, so we wouldn't see it. Then they aerosol sprayed our atmosphere and basically destroyed the ozone layer. So our ozone layer has been destroyed, and now everything's frying. So you couldn't ask for a better science fiction movie, could you? So we're really in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. And but just take a look at that. I almost thought of that website. I want to. It begins with the letter D. I don't know. Maybe I'll think of it in a little bit. But so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are in very, very deep trouble here. And the good news is this is not our world. We're not from here. We were just brought here to have an experience, a conscious experience in a body that allows us to breathe and to see and to come to know. It's about waking up to consciousness. I'd like to add to the list, Desert. Just let me know when. Oh, you have something you want to add? Well, you better do it now. I've already talked out, and then if it's in this topic, then let's do it, and that'll give me a slight break on my voice, and you can share with us. So call in right now, okay? And then we'll get to the program, which is going to be the review, of Genesis, which I'm going to just give you the oral version, because all of our scriptures have been manipulated. It's the duality, and that it was meant to be this way. Okay, it's not an accident, or they didn't trick Yahweh or Yeshua. No, they let the occult do what they're going to do, because they're going to use them. They are the scapegoat. They are the Judas. You see, the Illuminatis, the ancient Vekoresh, the Watchers, the Vicars of who are the Watchers are the vicars in the Vatican. That's the same original word. So are you calling in, Ninja? I'd like to add. So give me a heads up, and I guess she walked away from the phone. I don't know. I'm nervous now. Well, I'm sorry, but okay. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean yes or no? How can you be nervous? You've called here half a dozen times already. Get on the phone. You got something. You got to do this. It's important. If you got something that so that's right. You got a big heart, Ninja. Star just said you got a big heart. So forget about everything else. Use that big heart and give us a call. This is bad for radio. We've got to move forward here. I don't know what to do now. I'm going to sip my coffee and let you think about it. Hang on. I love this interactive radio. Never had this before. This is quite an experience. Oh. And shall I guess this must be Ninja Cat?
This is Ninja Cat.
Okay, Ninja. I'm going to go turn off that air conditioner. So in the meantime, tell people the name of your channel so they got it.
The name of my channel is called Ninja Cat.
And does that cat have claws or what?
Capital C and T. 2 words.
Okay, Ninja. Good to have you. And so you have something further to add to the cosmic dilemma we're facing?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
We need to start talking about the CERN factor as well, I think.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
CERN.
Oh, CERN. Okay.
The Hadron Collider. Yeah, we need to bring that into the equation as well, I think, especially when it comes to sky weirdness.
Well, okay, but the science is really beyond you. In other words, you can't predict anything that thing is about, right?
I know a little bit, but yeah, I do think it has something to do with what's going on in the sky. I've done a bit of research. Sorry, you're breaking up.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, then I'll jump in.
Okay. I've done a little bit of research. When I saw the stars change, 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, probably.
Yeah.
I was very, very frightened and confused, and something kept coming up in my feed on my homepage on YouTube, and it was non-stop. It was Mandela effect. And I avoided it for months, and it just kept coming up. So, all right, I'll check this out, see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt off. I wasn't convinced that that's what was going on. Like, for those who don't know much about it, there's a fair few people in the world that believe that they have shifted from other parts of the galaxy to a completely different world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that is what is going on. I do believe there's different dimensions and things, because we're dealing with, like on a daily basis, where we're seeing like demons in the sky, and and they've infested this world. So I'm not saying there's no other realities and dimensions and all that sort of thing, but I think this Mandela effect has been created, and a lot of it is trickery, and I think CERN is involved. So I think it's kind of
well,
partly and messing with things and everything going out of sync. From what I've...
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry?
No, go ahead.
Okay, from what I've observed and read and watched on YouTube, like I've looked around everywhere trying to figure this out because, yeah, freaky stuff.
Okay. Can I...
Yeah, from what I've figured out...
Okay. Go ahead.
CERN has already done the damage. Like they've ripped something open. They've been opening doors that they shouldn't be opening.
Yeah.
And I think they are trying to, well, I think they are actually bringing more and more demons into this world.
More and more what? More and more what into this world?
Demons, entities.
Okay, and okay, go ahead. But this is all. Go ahead, just finish your thoughts because I'll jump in after when you're done.
Okay. Yeah, and they're trying to. This is just what I've been piecing together, like all different sources.
Right.
Yeah, and from what I can see, they're trying to raise the vibration or get the frequency of this world right.
Get the frequency of this world what?
They're trying to get the frequency of this world right for them to be able to inhabit.
Right. Don't forget you speak a foreign language. You speak Australian, so you've got to be real slow.
Okay. Okay, where was I at? I'll try and finish in a second.
Okay.
I'm almost there.
Right.
And this is affecting our sky. And I think it's bringing in, like I've made a few videos on the machine that I believe is up there, working with the sun simulator, and talked about plasma and orbs and drones and things. I think all this is kind of seeping in to this reality, and that's what we're seeing. Like the veil has been torn.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
and that's where I'm going with this. Like it's all messed up. Like it's out of sync.
Yeah.
And
well.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah. And I think CERN has a lot to do with this. And I think the evil ones of this world are controlling CERN, and it needs to be talked about. You can jump in whenever you want now.
Okay. I'm writing a couple notes here. Hang on, so I don't forget. And okay. So our world is filled with many diversions, and the greatest art of warfare is what is that? The art of war. The most primary art of war is deception. In other words, like during World War II, in England, to kind of or maybe it was on the European continent. I don't remember where, but they made a bunch of blow up tanks, and these blow up tanks, there were thousands of them, I guess, maybe, and so that way when Germany was doing their aerial reconnaissance and they'd fly over, they'd say, "Whoa, look at all these tanks they got there. They're getting ready to come in from the north. They're going to come, and attack Normandy from the north with all these tanks." And so they were trying to divide their energy and move them, some of the German forces up to the northern flank. And so it's a lot cheaper to get a bunch of blow up balloons to look like tanks than it is to produce a lot of tanks and put them there. So that was a strategy, called diversion. And so I've looked at these different things, from the flat Earth and to CERN and the Mandela effect. I have looked at them, and I try not to leave any stone unturned. But then
And
I
I've looked
also
into
have
the
to go
flat Earth as well.
go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I've looked into flat Earth. I've looked into Earth being one sort of section of a flat plane with a whole heap of other lands around it. And yeah, anyway, sorry, continue.
All right, thank you. Yeah. And what's interesting is that information came out all at one time, and all of these different videos. And so you have to look at how it comes out, and how they control the technology. Therefore, they're able to produce very sensational, very convincing illustrations and all these other things. But number one is I'm based in the scripture, and with a connection with Yeshua. Therefore, he is the one who has been teaching me all my life and given me the ability to reason and to also see through the illusions, because we know that we're dealing with a wicked culture that is the master of illusion. Just like they put us under the spell, but the spell is not a magic. It is they have no real supernatural power. The spell is an idea that has everything to do with how you can read words. And once you know the tricks that they've played, then you can be set free. Then you're no longer under their spelling, their spelling, because we can now, and that's what we're doing here, is correcting the spelling. The spell ing, and ing is means creation, and therefore the spell of creation that they put us under is the grand illusion. They just manipulated our words, controlled our history, and lied to us from day one. And so having looked at CERN from every angle, and and then outside they have the Shiva doing the dance in the circle, right, and stepping on a baby. And so Shiva is the creator and the destroyer. So what did this plastic civilization do? They created our world. It's their world. It's not our world. If we would have had a natural evolution of development on our planet as a decent people, our world would be so different, and we probably wouldn't have skyscrapers. We probably wouldn't have so many of the things that we have today, because we wouldn't need it to be in love with the one and be at peace, among each other. We could have lived like the Native Americans in a teepee, and been happy. And that's why the Native Americans said, we don't dig the earth. We don't molest our mother by digging out the dirt and making metal. They knew that was wrong, because they came from the same root as we all did, to some degree. Obviously, we have different family lines at different times, but the point is, they knew about what was going on with the old world, and they passed down these traditions, from generation to generation through hand sign language and what have you. So they wouldn't. So the traditional Native peoples wouldn't molest the surface of the earth to dig out the ore, because they knew that was of the darkness. Although it could have been, it could be used for good. We know that you can get shovels and pickaxes to build a house, or make tools to build a house. But what happens is, always these things get abused, and then they make weapons of war. They make weapons. And so the traditional people wanted to live in harmony and balance with nature. Everything was provided. They didn't lack in anything, and they were some of the happiest people, like the Plains tribes and other ones that lived in harmony with the Great Spirit, who is one. Okay. In the different cultures, we see him dressed in different garments, but it's still the one. So I know I have a long way of answering things, so let me try to get back to point here. So
no, I enjoy listening. You speak well.
Okay. So CERN, to just like the Mandela effect. Okay, I looked at the Mandela effect and went, yeah, that's rather interesting. Okay, and I was seeing enigmas, but let me get my thought here. So like what I learned, like when I followed Dmitry Kozlov on the the true demolition of the Twin Towers, which was a 15 megaton hydrogen bomb, okay, placed under each of the towers, and that they collapsed, and that's why they disintegrated. There was not thermite. Thermite was the diversion. Okay. I mean, we see a little bit of fire pouring out, like liquid metal pouring out the side of the building, but the whole building would have had to have been thermite in order for it to melt. It didn't melt. It disintegrated on the atomic level. And that was an atomic, only thing that could do that is an atomic nuclear blast. The lady who came out with all the questions, Dr. Oh, I can't remember it. I've interviewed her as well. But the lady that came out asking all the questions, then Dimitri gave all the right answers. So there's a lot of illusions that are going on. And what Dimitri pointed out was after, he came out exposing the fact that it was the thermonuclear hydrogen bombs that, took down the Twin Towers. He gave a 5-hour presentation with illustrations. There's no denying once you see this. If anybody needs that, link, I can send it to you by email. Just contact me after the program. I'll get it to you. You want to see it because you'll realize that, the architects and engineers are still promoting the falsehood with being thermite. It's not thermite. So there's one example of getting everybody to follow a certain idea, but yet the truth is out. The truth is right here in front of us, but nobody is it's not being promoted. I'm the only one. I mean, I'm the only one other than Dimitri himself that I hear talking about it. I've asked him for an interview, so I hope to get him on real soon. He's probably trying to figure me out yet. That's why he's agreed to do it, but he's not called me. So he's probably, concerned about, somebody betraying him or playing a game, and I can't blame him. But so the Mandela effect, what Dimitri pointed out was, the thing that's interesting about when the Twin Towers came down is that day they started calling it the event Ground Zero. And yet the only definition in any dictionary for Ground Zero was a place where you set off a nuclear device. Judy Wood, thank you, Martha. Yeah, Dr. Judy Wood. Dr. Judy Wood asked all the right questions. I said, Dr. Judy Wood asked all the right questions. What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? But then she's caught up into some, esoteric, device that had to be used to, dealing with a hurricane out in the Atlantic Ocean and all this other stuff. But she asked all the right questions, but she's not got the answer. The answer is the thermonuclear hydrogen bombs that were detonated below, and that's why they evacuated the Sears Tower in Chicago. The reason the Sears Tower is the only building in America that was evacuated is because it had the same structural design as the Twin Towers, built identically with an outer steel casing and with a concrete core in the middle. And the owners knew they had a thermonuclear device to take down the Sears Tower as well. And that's why they all got out of the Sears Tower, you see. But you don't know that answer unless you know Dimitri's assertion about how this really happened. And he gives all the facts. You can't. It's undeniable. So what happened after Dimitri exposed all of this? Then these illuminated occultists, because they control all publishing, they control everything, right? Don't they? That they then reprinted the old books and started putting in the old dictionaries and then took the books out of the library and put the new printing version of the old book in the libraries. That now said, Ground Zero is this. Ground Zero also means this. Ground Zero means this. Now having 3 different definitions when there was only one definition for, Ground Zero. And so that the fact that they are republishing books, you see, they can do that. There is no money, and so therefore they use our labor. They use us to do what they want us to do, just like the guys flying in the sky. Right? How come don't these pilots know they're killing themselves? They're killing their families. They're killing their world. And they're still willing to get behind, a flight panel and take off and spray the skies. You see? And so, where was I going with that? The point. Yeah. Let me breathe deep. Hang on. Okay, I'm feeling better. You're all right, Desert. Yeah. So so I was talking about republishing the books. And so the point being that if they would go to the extreme of republishing the books on one definition, and Dimitri proved it. He showed that, you know, he proved it, okay? So if they're willing to republish the books on one key word, wouldn't they be willing to republish the books on this, that, and the other thing?
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's what I was trying to say earlier that I did not say very well. Thank you, Desiree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning,
That's why I kind of kept it at arm's length.
Okay.
Looking into it.
In other words,
it wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, you're saying that you can see the Mandela effect is just another manipulation on our mind, right?
Yes.
Very good. Congratulations. You're smart.
I think it's part of the deception, but I also think CERN is messing around with things they shouldn't be messing with.
Well, there's no doubt that anything is possible, but we're not there, right? We're not there, so we don't know. We'll never really know, right?
True.
Okay. So what I finally did, you know, what I finally concluded after looking at flat Earth and you know, CERN and the you know, the collider, and then the Mandela effect, and what I realized was, for me to get caught up in all of this stuff was a diversion. And that's what they want. They want us caught up in flat Earth. They want us caught up in the you know, the hydraulic collider and the Mandela effect, and to be talking about those things instead of be talking about what's most important, and that's what's up above us, what they're doing to our atmosphere, and what's coming in with the binary star system, and then our spirituality. Those are the only two things that are going down in our world. Our world is crashing. That's all that. Keep it simple. Our world is crashing, and we have limited time here, and we have to find a way to go back home. And so whatever they're doing, the Heavenly Father knows. He's in control. He's still in control, and he's letting them get away with the game they're playing. But I'm not giving you any more of my energy. None of it. Not the flat Earth, not CERN, not Mandela, because I see through the scam. Diversion. The art of war is diversion. Any final thoughts?
Sorry?
I said any rebuttal or, you know, final thought on that? I love matters. Go
I agree.
What's that?
I agree.
Oh, you very good.
Yes, I'm not there. I'm not actually. No, you just got me thinking. Part of when I was looking into it was a video that was made. You know how they did all their little dances and things at CERN when they had success. And there was a picture of one of them sitting in an office holding a sign up, a piece of paper with Mandela written on it. It was a while ago. Bond won and Mandela were in the picture. And that was when they were doing all the happy dances and laughing and stuff. And that makes sense now that you have said what you just said. They were putting it in throwing it in our faces.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah.
Well, well, you know what's interesting? Now that we're talking about it, I'm seeing something for the first time in the Word, and it is Mandela is synonymous with the term, because what I was just thinking about first, as you were talking, I was thinking about Nelson Mandela in you know, South Africa, who was once in prison as a political, you know, enemy, and then ultimately he becomes president of South Africa after he divorces Winnie, and that he couldn't have done a better deal than to get rid of Winnie. She was bad press for him, but I'm just, you know, throwing in a little faceticism here. But Mandela, I thought. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I thought it interesting. I thought it interesting. We're talking about Mandela effect, and then in South Africa we got a guy named Nelson Mandela. But then all of a sudden, as I was thinking about that, I said, wait a minute. Mandela is Mandala, Mandala, M-O-N-D-A-L-L-A, Mandala. And in fact, I could look it up in the dictionary of my symbols, but I don't need to because I know what it is. And so the mandala, so now remember I say everything comes out of India, right?
Yeah.
You heard me say it? So the mandala comes out of India, and it's the circle, it's the wheel. And the best picture that you could see that is the mandala. And remember, symbols rule the world. Symbols rule the world. So if we can get the picture, then it's starting to make sense. And now I can add to what I've been trying to say. Thank you very much, Ninja, because you're stimulating this conversation is now taking us further than we ever would have gotten. And so, go ahead.
I just had something pop into my head as well. Did you want to finish what you were saying,
okay.
Or can I jump in?
Well, you can jump in. I'm not going to lose my thought. Go ahead.
Okay. Around the same time that all this was happening,
yeah.
I noticed in all the shops everywhere there was a massive overload of the colouring in books for adults. But I don't know if you guys have them over there, but they were big fad. And
wait a minute, what for adults? I don't get it.
Colouring in books.
Coloring books? Coloring books? Coloring books?
Sorry?
Are you
coloring books? Yeah.
Okay.
For adults.
For adults. Oh, well, that fits. Okay, go ahead.
But most of them had how do you pronounce it? The mandalas in them.
The mandala?
They were everywhere.
You mean the circle? Everywhere. The circle I'm talking about?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All through the shop.
Okay, so we're getting the picture now, right? So let me finish, okay? So the mandala, the best example of the picture of a mandala is the steering wheel on the classic sailing ships that traversed the entire planet back in the 18, 17, 16, 1500s. They had the classic, over a long period of time, they developed these giant sailing ships. And so the steering wheel on the ship is the mandala. It's an identical representation of the Hindu Aryan wheel of life, the wheel of life. And therefore, what does it mean? It means the mandala steers everything. You see? Hinduism. Okay. So that's my point then about CERN, because CERN being a circle, now we can also add that it creates another type of a mandala. You see? And so the good news is, just like when I'm reading my scriptures today, I was reading in Psalms, okay? Let me read it. It'll be good because it was perfect. It really fits what we're talking about here. What I highlighted, I'll get to it when I get there, okay? So Psalm 118. Thank Yahweh who is perfect, whose mercy endures. Let not Yisrael say that his mercy, now let Yisrael say that his mercy endures. Let Aaron's house tell that his mercy endures. Let Yahweh, those who fear Yahweh, declare that his mercy endures. And I know it's the truth. Then I called on the life in distress. The life heard and set me free. Yahweh, with me, I fear not. What blood of the earth may do to me, Yahweh is my help. I should not fear those who hate, or those who hate us. The better trust on Yahweh than rely upon men. Better trust on Yahweh than rely on princes of the earth. If all nations surround in the royal title. Okay, so if all nations were to surround us, it's a not perfect translation, but if all nations were to surround us in the royal title of Yahweh, I will defeat them. Around me they circled. There's the circle. Around me they circled. In the royal title of Yahweh, I will defeat them. In the royal title of Yahweh, they surround me like bees, like thorn fires crackling. In the royal title of Yahweh, I will defeat them. They rushed on with a mighty rushing, but Yahweh saved me from falling. He helped, so I chant to this life. for he is my Savior. And I could go on, but you get the picture that no matter how great the the oppression or the big what's the word for that? The Leviathan, the giant Leviathan is. It doesn't matter. It does not matter because they are only allowed to do what they're doing for the purpose, the great purpose of Yahweh. Hey, whatever they are doing serves his purpose. They're not getting away with anything. With anything. They're being used there to scapegoat, just like Judas, who had the money. And they got the money, right? They get all the money they want because they got our labor. They got our labor. They got us working for them. And so the best thing, to go full circle now, is to say, I don't give it my energy. And that would be my recommendation to anybody else, because there's so little time. We've got to get in the book. We've got to decode the words. That's the other game they played on us, right? Any final thoughts, Ninja?
Thank you for reminding me of that.
What specifically? I'm sorry.
Thank you for reminding me to not be distracted. I was kind of half seeing through it, and you helped me.
Yeah, because we'll never be able to figure their game out, will we?
No, we won't. We won't know until we leave here.
Yeah, well, then it won't matter. It won't matter at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're playing a game. They're the masters of illusion. If we can know that, then we can rest assured that much of it is trickery. And again, that whole element of Shiva doing the dance in the circle. There's the Mandela. There's the Mandela right there in the circle.
Yeah.
It's right in front of us, and I missed that one. And she's stepping on the baby. And so what is Shiva? Shiva is the creator and the destroyer. And so they've created their phony world. They knew that this was the end of the great cycle because of the cosmic events that were about to occur, and that this was their way of annihilating all of civilization on the planet, and they go back underground, what they've done before. And so I lost my thought there. I'm on overload, short circuiting. Sorry. It's just the fact that that they're the masters of illusion, and we don't. This is what everyone. What really gets me. Let me close it like this. That my heart goes out to so many of my wonderful friends out there. And Lynn is saying, Ninja, yes, we do have adult coloring books. Yes, okay. My heart goes out there to some of these wonderful researchers, like well, I don't want to name names, but some really great ones. Well, I think like the classic one. I'll mention one like Dane Wigington. Dane, being at the tip of the needle, has given so much of his life, about 15 years now, into exposing the the occult, scientific arena, doing the geoengineering, and he's given his life to it, and it's a noble thing, and I know that he will be blessed in his dedication by the Great Spirit. I know he'll be blessed, and I'm using a pagan term now. I should have said Baruch, endowed and enlightened, and favor rains down upon him, but with so many others that are not as well able to present what's going on, but yet these other researchers that are doing their best, so many of them that have 10,000 people following them or whatever, and I admire these people for being so dedicated and doing such great work, while at the same time, the one thing that with our limited time that they're not doing, because I know how much energy it takes to produce this stuff and to do all the research and to make all the presentations. I've been doing it, for 30 years now, if not longer, and that they are dedicating their time to exposing the corruption, exposing the shenanigans, while they're using up all their precious time and have not pursued the thing that's most important, which is the spiritual element. And that practically, not practically, but it really requires all of our time and energy And therefore, because when we focus in that direction, then everything else opens up. Yeshua is the revealer. Yeshua has been everywhere at all times, throughout history, because he made all things, he sees all things, knows all things, and everyone is in the book of remembrance. So the most important thing that will get us on the right track about anything is by serving the Holy Spirit, Yahweh, and the great Aleph Haim, his only loved seed, Yeshua. So by focusing in that direction, you can't lose. You can't lose. But if we go in all these other directions and get caught up in trying to prove them out, we'll be spending all of our time and we'll never be able to prove it out. Unless somebody like Dimitri comes along, that's an insider. He was an insider, so he could expose it. So that's the job of the insider, but we, being the little peons that we are, we can realize that we'll never figure it out. And why give it our energy, and let's focus on what's being offered to us. Like when I did that reading yesterday with Peter, and his wonderful speech he made to, the people after he healed the man that was lame. He says, Yeshua made us a house. Does anybody want to go in? Well, he's making an offer, but you got to take it. And so CERN, flat Earth, Mandela, and it's a preoccupation that I have no time for. What other people do, is their business, and I don't blame them for anything they attempt to do. I know how difficult this world is, Ninja, but I'm not giving it my energy. So, and I'm glad to see you're able to follow, much of what I'm sharing with you, because I certainly want you to be on the perfect path.
Oh, thank you. It just breaks my heart seeing so many people be fooled by it. Like, I can see people on the inside of the community trying to keep, they're creating more effect inside the community and convincing people to not look outside the box. They're keeping them distracted, like in their own little world. And yeah, I wanted to talk about it and expose it and say what I felt regarding that, because I almost got sucked in when I saw things change a few years ago. But something told me something wasn't right. So I kept it at arm's length and looked into it. And yeah, and you just gave me the final puzzle piece. So
wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that's the synergy we get out of good conversation, and that's why I keep telling everybody, I know you know something out there. Call in and let's try to hash out the things that we're not certain about, because there are answers, and but we always have to get back to keeping it simple. That's the secret. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
And what's most important. Choose love. That's love matters. Choose love. So Ninja, thank you so much for calling in today. I hope things are going well with you and your family and down there.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know. My sister's real sneaky. Like I caught her being sneaky. Like when she dropped Mum off, and they were out for twice as long as she said they were going to be. So all I did was worry and try and shake the awful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And and then she left.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's one more diversion in life, but the thing is, keep all your eggs in a row, and you be on top of things. You've got to be on top of things and control the ball, since you are doing a great job taking care of your mom and each. Spending time with each other. You should let nobody separate, the both of you when you're mutually, helping each other in in a tough world. So, okay.
Yeah. I think I think it was supposed to happen. I can see the good out of it now. I think it was supposed to happen so that I could stop.
Yeah.
And release a few things, get a few things out.
Yeah.
So I feel so much clearer now. So that's the good side of it.
All right.
So, and thank you for your advice the other day. I'm keeping it in mind, and I've put you in my playlist so that I can refer back to what you said if I need to.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, then you just have a great day out there down under, Ninja, and we'll see you on the chat. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Douglas.
All right. Be well. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. And when we get back, we're going to be talking about the duality of nature. And Mew Mew, hey, good to have you. And I just lost my card. Where? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I've got 2 cards. And when we get back, before I do the read out of the Genesis, and I'm going to do the oral version. I'll talk about the duality when I get back on. Why does Aaron have two A's in his name, right? 2 A's. Because it's a symbol. We got to read the symbols, and if we can read the symbols, we'll get the picture. So you might want to write down Aaron on a card, and I'll be right back. You're tuned in right here to the RealPublicRadio.net, Free America Radio Network. What they didn't want you to know, and they hope that you're going to stay diverted, but not if you keep listening to me. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, we'll be right back. You did tell your friends, right? Okay. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And hello, Duck. I see we've got Deplorable Duck with us. And I guess that term came out in the last election when we were all labeled as deplorable by the woman from hell. So I guess we're all in good company here. And that that Mandela effect, just bring it back full circle. So the Mandela steers everything, and that was what happened with Nelson Mandela. You see, he was appointed. It was always known that this was going to happen. This is how they they engineer everything, and so that ultimately he had the name. He already had the name that he was going to come full circle. They were going to go from white South Africa that had dominated commerce for 300 years or whatever. The Dutch went down there to South Africa. I know apartheid was really bad for the African people, and that was a tragedy. But the way the New World Order worked was that they were going to go full circle. They were going to end up, doing the switch out, going from black to white to black, and then Mandela is the full circle. That's why he's got the name Mandela, and that was really excellent. That Ninja, she told me about the coloring book, and that it had the Mandela all throughout there. You see, signs and symbols rule the world. If we can read the signs, we can follow the trail. That's how we do it, not by speculating, not by guessing. We've got to see and read it for ourselves with our own eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the great mystery. It's their way of communicating, and that's the thing that got me. When I got into political activism, I was saying, geez, these guys are talking in symbols, and I can read it. And I was amazed that, I was just amazed that I was able to read these people. And so it was like, and so it took me about 10 years of political activism to finally figure out the game and the secret societies. I had to have that experience. So we're in a duality of light and darkness, and so by the name of Aaron, we find something rather interesting, because it was said that Aaron would be the head of the priesthood, and with his two sons, and that was they were in the tribe of Levi, right? And so let's look at what happened with when Moses went up to Mount Sinai, and he's going to receive the law. Okay, he's going to receive the law. And so while he's up there for 40 days and communicating with Yahweh and the great Elohim, then the people down below are thinking, man, this guy's been gone for 20 days now. How long is he going to be gone? Let's go to work here. He's not coming back. He's taking a hike. And so they say, Aaron, come on, Aaron, you're the priest here. So let's get to work. Let's make a calf, and this will be our God, right? This will be our Elohim. In other words, if it's a bull and it's made out of gold, it represents the sun. So they're in their narrow way of thinking, they're trying to import a concept that is running parallel with the true story, meaning that the light that we fell from, is the great symbol. That is the logo. That is the sun. That is the atom, atom. And so when they're creating the golden calf or the bull, they're implying the same origin, but they're doing it through their own means. And then at the same time, they're also going to have a party. They're going to say it's party time. And so when they make the bull and start worshiping it, and then they start drinking and whatever else they want to do. And so when Moshe is coming off the mountain, he says to Joshua, he says, "What is that we hear down there? Is that war?" He says, "No, that's not war. They're having a party." And he says, "Well, okay, let's go down." And when he comes down, he sees them, the calf put up on the pedestal. Moshe then takes the law, and he throws the law at the idol, and so the law was thrown away because they couldn't receive the true law that they could have received, because they weren't ready. It was symbolic of the fact that the people in the old world could not receive the truth that Yeshua brought us finally. And so Moshe is an archetype that is parallel with Yeshua. In fact, the word Moshiach is primarily made up of the word Moses. Moshiach, for what we think of when we say Christian. And so what happened? Moshe El says, okay, all of those of you on the side of Yahweh, come over here. And all of those of you, who want to, embrace the bull, that's that papal bull again, you go over there. And so what happened? The earth opened up and swallowed them up. And they died because they didn't want to follow the truth. And be patient, because we have to be patient in our struggle to overcome the self. And so now let's ask the question. Well, wait a minute. What's going on with Aaron? If all those people died and Aaron made the calf, I mean, he was like the primary, if Aaron didn't go along with it, it wouldn't have happened. So did he die? No. He's still at the head of the priesthood. How could he be at the head of the priesthood when he just made a golden calf and participated in the criminal act? Rather interesting, wouldn't you say, ladies and gentlemen? Right? Come on. That's why you see he's got two A's in his name, Aaron. Okay? Because two A's. Remember, the A actually represents a bull in the Aramaic. That primitive, symbol. It represents. They say it represents the bull, but the truth is, it really represents the pyramid. It represents the sun. It represents the great power of creation. That's why a bull, is a pretty bad dude, right? You don't want to get in a field, in the middle of a field, and have a bull in that field. He's going to be looking at you with one eye and thinking about running you over, because that's what they do. Okay? And so Aaron has the symbolism in his title, Aaron. And so one A is a vowel and one A is a consonant and is silent. The first A of the alphabet, the Aleph, is a consonant, not a vowel. The vowel is through the voice. And then when they were writing, then they created the vowel points. But the vowel was simply spoken. So the A is silent in the beginning of the alphabet, and it's the V/B, because the B is the corruption. But as it says in the ancient tradition, that the A was silent and the sound began with the letter B, which was originally the V. And so with Aaron, we have a vowel, we have a consonant, and that which is silent represents the Great Spirit, represents Yahweh, because that which is speaking is like the ass, right? That's what Jerusalem was. It was the ass. And so we see the symbol of the ass continually throughout our scriptures. Yeshua rode in behind the ass, not on the ass, but behind. He was riding the colt behind the ass when he went into Jerusalem in that last week. And so what I want to point out here is that Aaron, he should have been killed with those other people, and he wasn't. He remained the head of the Levitical priesthood. And so you've got to get the picture. What it is telling us in this duality is that which is false is that which is speaking. And it is that which is the first thing that introduces us finally to the truth when we wake up to, wait a minute, something's wrong here. All of my scriptures apparently are manipulated. There's not one scripture that is pure. It has all been in the possession of the ass and of the occult and of those that hate our guts. Just like the Masoretic text came to us out of Switzerland, right? Shavorland. And the land of the pharaohs. And that it was given to us by the Masorite Jews who hate our guts. Do you think they would give us an honest transliteration of the Old Covenant when it was actually the first time it got locked into vowel points, when there were never vowel points on the words, that we're supposed to add the vowels as we read. So you see, so the truth is coming to us riding on an ass. And then once we identify the ass, we say, okay, you're out of here. I'm taking the truth that's riding on top of you, but you're out of here. And we get rid of the two S's. There's the SS. There's the double serpent, the S, telling us that there's a duality. There is a duality, okay? And so once we can see the lie, as I've been saying at the beginning of every program, once we can see the lie, then we can find the truth. So Aaron was allowed to live because he symbolized the lie. He was a part of it. But yet he was allowed to go on in the Levitical priesthood because Israel was not the chosen. We found that out, didn't we? When it was saying you are chosen, what happened? They were annihilated. Annihilated. They were no longer chosen because they weren't worthy, because they were in the darkness of the old world and were not ready to receive the light that Yeshua brings to us. Okay, so Yeshua is the revealer. That is who we need in order to sift through all of these lies, whether we're talking about colliders, Mandela, flat earth, flat thinking. Give me a break. Anybody who thinks the earth is flat don't understand how electromagnetism works. Electromagnetism, how the compass works, how the polarities work, North Pole, South Pole, let alone the weather systems. They've just bought into the simple, milk toast, and they don't know how to eat the steak and the main course. They've given over revelation to whatever they hear and sounds good, they're going to follow. Somebody else told them that. They didn't get that by revelation. Somebody told them that, and they follow it. What I've been saying for years now is that the things that you follow, are these the things that have been handed to you by tradition, or are these the things that have been revealed to you by Yeshua? Because what I found out is that everybody's running in that direction, and I'm running the other way. Okay, I'm going 180 degrees. I found out that the truth was 180 degrees in the other direction. Everybody's fallen off the cliff of the BS, and they don't get it, and they never will, it seems. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because it says many, many, many seek to enter in, but few are saved. That is an amazing statement, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing statement. So anyway, I wanted to. We have so much discussion here that I run out of voice before I get into the main program here. And so let me see. Am I going to be able to do that? I think I'm going to have to save that for this evening now, because I'm not going to be able to hold out, I can tell. So I'm going to get into a few words that kill, and then we'll just let it go with that, okay? But yeah, an amazing world, Mr. Smith. So in the words that kill, in the book, The Pirate Sea of Words, I'm at the high water mark, okay? And so these occultists, they're so clever, And so what they've done is that they made the highest point in every state the high water mark. The Admiralty Sea flooded on the entire land. And so that's why the Admiralty came over. The Admiralty came upon the land, and that's the emerging sea. The emerging sea. Thank you, Martha. And the emerging sea. Okay, the emerging sea is the emerging sea, the flood of the tyranny that came upon the land of the pirates. The emerging sea of the pirates. No, it was perfect, Ninja. Perfect. Okay, you had to call in today. It was perfect. Okay, everything happens for a reason, and I'm so glad, because we saw things that we never saw before. You and I and everybody else. So so the piracy, is that ship of state, the craft. The craft came in, and it was run by pirates, and they are the trees' sons. That's where the word treason comes from, and trader comes from, because the treasonists who craft the ship are the traders. They love to trade. They'll trade with anything, and they'll trade out your soul for $1. So it's all word trickery, isn't it? You see how these words have double meanings? Treason, sons, and trader, and traitor, trader. Love to have some free trade. Can we have some free trade, please? Because we're traders, and we're going to sell you out, and we're going to make you interdependent, and you're going to need to get all your products from China, and we don't make anything anymore, and therefore when the economy crashes and everything goes to hell, then we won't be able to survive because we don't make anything anymore. They sent all the what do they call that when you make metal, work with metal, all the industrial, machine shops, and they all, back in the 1980s, the machine shops all went to China. They tore down the smelting plants, the steel mills. They literally tore down our steel mills and took them to China and rebuilt them. Literally, destroyed our industries, made us interdependent so that our nation could never survive a devastating scenario. You see, they set us up for the kill. They set us up, and that's the name of their game, ladies and gentlemen. And so be set free. We don't need them. We don't need them. We only need the truth and Yeshua, the Redeemer. And then that's why they now, instead of calling the freeway, because it's no longer free. Go try hitchhiking on the interstate. They'll tell you you're not allowed to be there. Oh, you mean I can't walk across the country on the shoulder of the road? No, because it's the King's Highway. Oh, the highway. Oh, yeah, the highway, like the ocean. That's the highway. The high seas is the ocean. The highway, the high seas. The flood came upon the land. That's why when you look at the symbol, the seal on the interstate highway, what do you find for the symbol? That shield, red, white, and blue shield, is the shield, the same shield you find on the Federal Reserve Bank. You see? Interstate interdependence. And it's not free anymore. And their Batmen with their batons will pull you over and bat you in the head if you don't listen to them and get off that highway. Hole, in the hole. Yeah, that's where they want us, in the hole. One, where they put you for 30 days after they set you up. And two, the bottom hole of a ship, in the hole. Go down there in the darkness and see cold concrete and steel and suffering humanity. Still time to call in. If you have a comment or a question, you're welcome to call in. And I apologize for not being able to do the other part, but we'll get it tonight. We'll get it. And I've got unlimited resources of information to bring your way, so don't worry about it. I'm not going to run out, okay? And here's highway again. Okay, highway is one used to be a freeway, but now it's for the highwaymen. The highwaymen are the ones who want to take your money. Oh yeah, that's then the Batman, the police. Okay, extortion. That's right, extortion. I never signed that contract. What are you talking about? Two, the red, white, and blue shield on the U.S. interstate. There it is. Highway system is the identical shield on the Federal Reserve Bank. It's the Rothschild. So the interstate symbol, the interstate highway symbol, is banking. It is the Rothschilds, the red shield, just another version of the other version. Okay. C, highway, high watermark. Highway patrol, highwaymen. The King's Highway, England, banking, Vatican, and India. And one more, homeowner. They always call you a homeowner when you buy a house. Oh, you're a homeowner now. Well, what's a home? Can I you see, it's an esoteric thought. It's an oxymoron in terminology. What is a home that you own? 2, sort of like owning happiness. Oh, you own the happiness now. Yes, you just committed fraud against me in a unilateral contract where you're ultimately going to take everything back from me in a few years. Like owning happiness, a happiness owner. That's a homeowner, a happiness owner. While they refer to you as a tenant right on their documents, on the deed, which means dead. Deed is dead, and a debtor can own nothing, and so you're a tenant. That's what they're calling you, right on the deed. Happy, happy, happy. Congratulations, slave. And shall I do one more? Let me see here. All right, one more. Hostage, because we've been talking about this one. So you are the hostage. Remember, I said I got the handbook on Roman civil law when they went into the bankruptcy. Then they went from officially went from common law into Roman civil law, and then I got the handbook that they gave to the judges, and I immediately went looking for the birth certificate and security, and it said before you can create a security, you need to have a hostage, and that is what we became as surety for the security of the birth certificate. We are the hostages. They enslaved us. The birth certificate is a slave instrument. That's all it is. And it means you came in off the ship because it had to be birthed. So it came off the ship of state. Okay, so hostage. 1, a surety. 2, found upon entry by the first birth certificate. 3, in the 1930s, with a New Deal, America went under banking rule and Roman civil law. No more common law. The judges all received a copy of the handbook on Roman civil law. Now, regarding a security, the birth certificate, that which will make the beast system money, well, it's actually going to give them labor. That's what it's going to do. They're going to, your mom went into labor, and ever since then, we've been in labor. Thank you, Star. Good to have you. It says, in order to create a security, the first thing you need is a hostage, a host. There's what's the primary word of hostage? Host. Sounds like some type of disease or something. A host known as a security, the value of whose slave labor monetizes with the monetizes with the moon of Lucifer. That security monetizes the security birth certificate. So get the picture, okay? For a host throughout the ages. See slave, dupe, stoop, poop, and you. Okay. You can tell I was pretty cynical when I wrote all this stuff, and you got to laugh at it because they're coming to kill you, and so what better way to approach it all than just to realize that in the end the joke is on them, and that we can take it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to take it and give them our love while they give us hatred and do every dirty trick on planet Earth that they could ever think of to us and our families. We have to feel sorry for them, and know that this is not our world. There's something greater, and it's here right now. We find it here right now, not tomorrow. It's here. It's always ever present. As it says, the Spirit is always ready, and the kingdom of heaven is in your hand. Where's the kingdom of heaven? In your hand. They said at hand, but meaning that the creation, at meaning the code for the creation, is in your hand. Okay? It always was here, but they couldn't see it. They couldn't see it, ladies and gentlemen. And so we have to see with an eye that focuses, bring the duality, your 2 eyes. You got 2 eyes because it's telling you there's 2 different views. There's the right and the left. There's the light and the darkness. So we have to focus our eyes to become one. That's what Yeshua said on the Sermon on the Mount, right? He says if your eye is divided, then your body can't hold the light. But if you focus and your eye becomes one, then you will be able to see. So we have to focus. We have to see with the new eye of purity. And the secret to having eyes to see is to purify our lives, to put away, the things that deny us our eternity, by participating in the things that we know to be wrong. We have to separate ourselves from those things. As he said, he came to set us free from having our eyes closed, which they corrupted into the word sin, but it just simply means to have your eyes closed. But once we can open our eyes, why would we want to close our eyes again? We have to open our eyes and purify our hearts and our minds, and then we can be set free, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to thank all of you wonderful people for tuning in today and being here, and Ninja, outstanding call today. And we never know where we're going to go next, until we can finally talk about it and then try to make sense out of it all. So tonight we'll do the first 3 chapters of Genesis, and I'll reveal the code right in there, okay? And want to wish all of you well. We all have our own struggles that we're going through, and good people need to be there for each other and support, and no agenda other than love and truth and peace. And it's a tough world, ladies and gentlemen. The duality is here. We have 12 hours of light, 12 hours of darkness. It's always telling us that's the game. The light, the darkness. Which do you prefer? Stay in the light and be set free, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Desert Owl telling you, if you want to know the future, then just look for the forbidden history, because it's all right here. It's what they didn't want you to know. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Ninja, and everybody else. Be well. Don't forget, 9 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time, the Forbidden History series. Thank you, Anna. Anytime, Deplorable, I'll be glad to go. Just, my phone number is 608-566-7295. 608-566-7295. Be happy to go there. I'll start by sending you my my information so you can have something to look at. Just give me a call and get me your email. My email is contact@freeamericaradio.com. Okay. Don't burn those biscuits.